How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to talk about exceptions, what they are, and why they're important. So the general definition of an exception is something excepted, an instance or case not conforming to the general rule. So that means anything abnormal, anything that's not supposed to happen or be there, we usually call an exception. All right? Now in C++, you have built-in support for handling these certain situations known as exceptions. They usually happen during the execution of a program. Now, with exception handling, your program will be able to do what you tell it to do. So that means if you get an exception, your program won't stop running and it'll, put something to the screen that you choose. So it could say, you entered the wrong character or please go back and try again. All right. Now to do this, we use what we call a try, catch, and throw block or statement. We'll have an example of that in a little bit. So have you ever played those games when you were younger? Which one of these things aren't like the other? Well, here's an example of that and where the word exception comes from, right? So we have 4 pieces of fruit. If you haven't guessed by now, the pear is the exception to this group. Why? Because it isn't like the others. So here we have a 26 character array with the letters A through Y inside, meaning that there's still space for one more. Now, let's say you want to ask the user to enter a character, and they enter in 5. You want it to say you entered an invalid character. If they enter in A, well, the character's already in the array. Those would be 2 exceptions that you would have to write the code to handle. Now, if you enter Z, highlighted in red, everything will be fine and dandy. The program will continue to execute. Now, this is what a try, catch, and throw statement or block looks like. All right, so you want to try a piece of code that you want to look for the exception in. Then you want to throw that exception to your catch statement at the bottom. So here we're going to throw Y if we get anything that's not a character, and if the character isn't S, G, C, P, O, or F, we're going to throw Y to our catch block. After we throw it, our catch block is going to say you entered an invalid value, and that will terminate this snippet of code. All right, so let's review really quickly. In the real world and the computer world, the definition for exceptions are pretty much the same. You might not be able to catch every possible exception, but all the exceptions that you do catch will stop your program from crashing. It helps your programs run much more smoothly and effectively. We use the try, catch, and throw statements or block to implement our exception handling. And like in the previous example, we had 2 if statements, one to test if it's not a character, and the second if statement to test if it was a certain type of character, right? So you can have multiple statements for as much as you want to catch as many exceptions that you can think of. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.